The icon of the seas represents a $2 billion investment in a moving, self-contained city. To survive on the open ocean, this structure has to generate its own power, treat its own sewage, and feed 7,600 passengers 3 meals a day. Add the 2,350 crew members required to run it, and you have roughly 10,000 people living inside a single steel hull. Operating at this scale creates a relentless financial baseline. Every morning, whether the ship is fully booked or completely empty, the cruise line burns through approximately $920,000 just to keep the vessel functioning. A massive portion of that goes straight into the engines. Pushing a 250,000-ton steel block across the water at 20 knots burns up to $150,000 in fuel day after day. Against that staggering overhead, a ticket for a week-long Caribbean cruise often sells for around $400. On paper, the math of the ticket price alone does not cover the cost of existence. That $400 ticket is a loss leader. The cruise line is subsidizing your arrival to get you up the gangway, trap you in the middle of the ocean, and convert you from a passenger into a captive customer. Surviving a near $1 million daily burn rate requires an aggressive approach to suppressing costs before the first drink is ever sold. While major cruise lines are headquartered in American cities like Miami, they do not register their ships in the United States. By flying the flags of places like the Bahamas and Panama, they take advantage of a legal loophole to dodge the corporate taxes and safety regulations they would face at home. That foreign registration dictates their labor costs as well. Ships bypass U.S. minimum wage laws, paying international crew members $400 to $700 a month to work 11-hour days with no time off. By utilizing this precise framework of global regulatory arbitrage, cruise lines establish an artificially lowered baseline. Without it, the entire industry's cost structure would collapse. Once you cross onto the ship, you enter a carefully engineered economy focused on onboard revenue. Every deck is calibrated to separate you from your money. Because the cruise line controls every transaction, the margins are extreme. They purchase alcohol at wholesale bulk rates, then sell all-inclusive drink packages at $90 a day, clearing 80% gross profit on every pour. Down in the casino, the advantages multiply. By operating in international waters, the ship sidesteps the mandated payout structures and strict gambling laws that land-based casinos must follow. To remove the friction of paying for these upgrades, purchases are tied directly to preloaded wristbands or room keys. You never feel the real-time sensation of spending cash. This diagram shows the logic that drives the industry: economies of scale. To maximize this onboard extraction, the ships must keep getting bigger. Whether a ship holds 2,000 people or 6,000, it still houses one bridge, one set of senior officers, and one engine room. By doubling the capacity, you spread those massive fixed overheads across thousands of additional people, drastically lowering the operating cost per head. Then they take vertical integration to its logical extreme by buying a private island. When a ship docks at a company-owned beach in the Bahamas, there are no independent tour operators to compete with. The cruise line captures 100% of every dollar spent. A modern megaship functions as a hyper-optimized machine designed to convert a captive audience into high-margin revenue through a global network of low-tax jurisdictions and offshore labor. This stacked bar chart shows the structural pressure of this economy of scale. To survive that towering block of fixed costs, a megaship requires an occupancy rate of roughly 108%. This sounds impossible, but because most cabins hold more than 2 people, filling every bed means exceeding 100% of the ship's baseline capacity. Because daily operations cost the same regardless of how many people are on board, there is zero flexibility. A minor disruption in demand causes revenue to instantly drop below the fixed cost threshold, turning millions in profit into immediate losses. In 2013, the Carnival Triumph demonstrated what happens when this rigid system breaks. A single deferred maintenance issue on a flexible fuel hose sparked a fire that killed the ship's power, leaving over 4,000 people stranded in the Gulf of Mexico. That one missed equipment check triggered an avalanche of costs. Between compensating the passengers and completely rebuilding the vessel, the total bill came to $200 million. But a broken engine is an isolated event. In March 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic grounded the entire global fleet simultaneously. All revenue stopped immediately. The overhead did not. To maintain its anchored fleet and keep basic sanitation systems from degrading, Carnival Corporation burned through $650 million every single month. Surviving that lockdown forced the company to borrow heavily. Even with profitability recovering today, Carnival is still forced to service a $26.8 billion debt burden. When the math works, these floating cities produce staggering profits. But their massive scale and fixed costs ensure they are always teetering on a razor's edge, one bad season away from sinking their balance sheets entirely.